It records so we don't we are recording this. This is for our community members. So anyone that is part of the Dragon Reclaim community, they get the replays to this. If you're not a part of it, I'm sorry, but you are here live. There will be a special offer at the end though for the Dragon Reclaimed, if that is something you are interested in learning more about. So we will offer a special discount for you guys being here today. Thank you so much. Let's see. Where do we got? The Netherlands, we got Poland. You guys are just all over the place. Just love it. Of the Maryland suburbs of Washington, D.C. Ooh, that's another place I've never been to. I've been to Maryland. I haven't been to Washington, D.C. So
Come to DC. You're just up the road.
who
You're
is?
about you're about 8 hours away.
Oh, I think
About nine.
I was gonna say I think it's a little bit longer, but it's still not bad. I think I drove about 8 hours to get to Charleston, so it's not. I'm in Tennessee, by the way. Hi, everybody's like, I don't even know where the hell she's talking about. Okay, so y'all, I am hyped up today. I'm so excited about this. And I had this really, really cool like confirmation of wanting to teach this. So I am a fan of words. I'm a fan of the words that we use, the words that we live by. And for me personally, it has made a tremendous difference to really start paying attention to the language that I use out loud, because it's also the language that we're using internally, right? And it was one of the first shifts that I used on myself when I was working through a lot of my things. And as I was doing this and making up the slides and getting things all sexy and pretty and just ready to have some fun today, there was this Instagram post that popped up, and she was talking about words as well. And I was like, that is it. This is what we're doing. So it was absolutely amazing. So thank you guys so much for being here. If you've not dropped in the chat where you're from, please go ahead and do so. Heads up before we get started, this will be class participation. I know if you guys weren't ready for it, too bad. No, I'm just kidding. So I do want this to be fun. I want it to be interactive. I want you guys to get something out of it. And in my personal opinion, when we sit through master classes where someone talks us to death, you kind of start to zone out. I don't know about you, but I know I do. So know that you guys will be participating. I will be calling on you. We'll be asking you to give your feedback, your opinions, and stuff like that. This is a safe space, so feel free to share as much or as little as you want as we're going through some of the things and talking about all the stuff today. Ella, can I make you a co-host? That way, in case anyone pops in late, you can let them in. Thank you, ma'am. Let me find you. Let me find you. So that way I can focus, because I'll get so distracted and then try to be clicking on all kinds of buttons and all
I
right.
got you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Did it do it?
Okay, cool beans. We're gonna go ahead then and jump in. So I'm gonna share my screen for you guys, but don't worry, I'm gonna be talking my head off to all of you guys as well. We're gonna have some fun. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so everybody should be able to see my screen. Thumbs up, we're good. Can everybody see? Awesome sauce. Okay. Y'all can laugh at me. I have some really funny words. Okay, so the words we live by. Like I said, I do believe that there is a language that we use, but there is also a language that we choose. Now, a lot of the language that we use every single day is either helping you build your life or it is keeping you stuck. And even more interesting is that the words that we are using currently may not necessarily be a word that you actually chose, because we are getting language fed to us as we are growing up, right? So some of the language that we are stuck on or that we are utilizing might actually not be something that aligns with us. And this is where the fun comes in, because then once you start noticing those words, you get to shift that language. And it is amazing how it will actually help rewire your brain in what you do, what you don't do, and the decisions that you make in your life. So words can actually physically alter the brain and shape our behavior. Now, this is not just some things that I've seen on TikTok. This is from my own experience, but there is actually statistics and neuroscience studies that show that simply changing your vocabulary drastically alters not only human behavior, but also our physiology. Has anyone heard of this? Raise your hand. Has anyone heard of this? I get some head nods. Okay. Jill, no. Yay, Jill, you're going to have fun. It's amazing. Okay. So I'll give you a couple of examples so that just to kind of wrap your brain around this. So One of the studies that they did was with a crime-related news coverage. Okay. And so what they did for this news coverage, they took one single word, which caused the public support to increase police enforcement, the support of it, from 54% to 71% because of one word. One word. In the medical industry, they took the word caused instead of produced. And instead of using produced, it led to 73% of people viewing a medical condition negatively. So when they were using the word, when they were using the word caused, 73% of people viewed their medical condition as a negative. When they used produced, only 48% saw it as a negative connotation. Now, here's where, in my opinion, it gets really interesting. We have understandings of language. And as we were growing up, we were giving words that people already had meanings to. And if we were explained those meanings, we interpreted that, whether you realize it or not. And that is why every single word that you use and phrase that you are using has some form of a connotation on what you are doing in your life. All right. So, has anybody here ever heard the phrase, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me? Oh, you got the hands up. Okay. So, this is actually really interesting because a lot of us heard this when we were children, right? Okay. However, words do hurt, right? They do. So something that we learned at a very young age was teaching us to separate how we saw words, which means we subconsciously took in that belief that words couldn't hurt us. However, the brain does not agree. The belief that physical injury is more painful than psychological or emotional injury is actually not true. There are scientific studies that actually show that positive and negative words not only affect us on a deep psychological level, but they have a significant impact on the outcome of our lives. So, with that in mind, are there any words that come to mind that you feel deeply when they are said to you? I want you guys to drop one negative word and one positive word in the chat. What is one negative word and one positive word that you know has some form of effect on you when it is said to you or when you say it? Like everybody's like, I know, I'm making you think. This is a good thing, I promise. Shouldn't and can't. Yes. Shouldn't, should, you should all over yourself. Oh, I love that somebody else came up with that phrase, but I think it's fantastic. What is one negative word and one positive word? Drop it in the chat. Ooh, disappointed. Ooh, that's an interesting one. And shine. Oh, I love that word. Shine. Okay. Can't and love. Ooh, those are really good. Can't is a very big word, and that's actually one of the words that we're going to chat about today on how it plays a role in your life. All right, I love this. Keep dropping it in the chat. You guys may end up finding words that you didn't think about that maybe had a negative connotation and you've never thought about it that way. And that's kind of the really unique perspective of you as an individual and depending on how you were raised, what you were brought up around and stuff like that. Ooh, Tessa, loud for negative and bright for positive. Ooh, okay. I like that. All right. Oh, Melissa, careful. Oh, that's a really good one. That's a really good one. Careful and then positive coherence. All right. Look at us. Got some power words in here. I'm loving this already. Okay. So you guys don't worry. I get geeked out over things. Okay. So with that in mind, I have a little exercise for you. Okay. So I would like for, oh, Jill, good one. Perfection and understanding. Ooh, perfection is definitely, yeah, that was a word I had to let go of a long time ago. Okay, so I have a little bit of an exercise for you guys. Does everyone have their phone? Pick your phone up. Show it on the screen if you can. Show your phone. Okay, got our phone. Okay, awesome. So if you are on your phone, then I want you to grab a pen or a pencil, right? Something like that. I need you to have something physical. Okay. So what I want you to do is put it down in front of you. I want you to put it down in where you can reach it. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. And now I want you to try to pick up your phone. Try to pick up your phone. Now don't pick it up, because if you pick it up, that means that you did it. Right? So we're going to try to pick up the phone. We're going to try to actually, because remember, if you pick it up, that means you actually picked it up. But if you didn't do anything, you didn't do it at all. Is anybody completely confused and think I'm insane? Raise your hand. Yeah. Okay. The reason that I bring this up is because this is the power of words. Vivian, yes, you can't try, you can only do. So listen to this. The definition of the word try is to make an effort or attempt to do something. Yet, we use this word every single day. Every single day. I am trying to build a community. I am trying to start a business. I am trying all over the place, right? The problem is your brain knows what that word means. So you are unknowingly getting in your own way by using this one word. Vivian. So try is actually one of the first words that I really had to work on. But there are so many more that are out there. This is just one of them. But again, we are using it in our vocabulary and in our language and not thinking anything of it. However, every time that you are speaking it out loud or saying it in your brain is picking up what you are putting down, right? So you are telling your brain something completely different. And then we wonder why it's so hard for us to make a change, to stop doing something, because we're saying we're trying, meaning we're making an attempt. But that doesn't necessarily mean you are actually doing it. It's also a really great way to give yourself an excuse for not being accountable. I'm getting head nods. All right, so before we move on, I have a question. What did we think of the exercise? If there's anybody that's willing to share, come off of mute. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I know we're taking notes, so I'll give everybody a second to write your stuff down. What were your thoughts on this exercise?
Well, it was a good reminder.
It was a good reminder.
Well, I try not to use that word.
And I do think that there are appropriate times where that makes sense, right? But I think the bigger thing is we use it on such a regular basis. We're using it in place of the things that are actually what we want to do, and we're putting in the wrong definition.
Well, I think try works for women as one of those qualifiers like just, or, kind of being apologetic when you're trying to make a statement as well.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Jill, I saw you
Yeah, when just the last thing you said, it's an excuse not to be accountable. I was like, whoa, because like you said, oh, okay, I'll try or whatever. Because again, I'm not being perfect. Like my thing is perfection, and it's like, okay, if I'm trying, well, I'm trying to be perfect, or like it's okay, or I don't know. I've got some weird things going on, but
Yeah.
I'll wait till,
Yeah.
but yeah. Like,
No, I
okay.
completely agree with you. And so try was my go-to word for the longest time. I'm trying to build a habit. I'm trying to build my business. I'm trying to do this in my business. And I actually had a coach that called me out on it. And I realized that I was using it as an excuse to get myself off the hook, which brings me to this next sentence. And I do want you guys to write this down. And this is something that you're going to want to have posted up on your wall, put on a sticky note where you can see it every day. The words you use are not just describing your reality, they are creating it. I'm going to repeat that. The words you use are not just describing your reality, they are creating it. This is why language is so, so important. All right, everybody got that written down? Want to make sure I don't move on before. All right, I got thumbs up. Awesome. So I have a question then, and I'm going to ask for 3 volunteers. So you can raise your digital hand if you'd like. If I don't see digital hands, I'm going to call on people. What is one word that has had an impact on you and why? And this could be something that maybe you're just now discovering. Maybe it's a word that you realize you use a lot and you haven't really thought about the impact it could have. But now that we're thinking about it, what is one word that has an impact on you and why? And I'll ask you to raise your digital hand. And like I said, if I don't see him in the next couple of seconds, then I will call on some people. Let's see. Jill. Yes, ma'am.
I'm feeling very like, participation today. Sorry.
I love it. Let's go.
No, like my word is perfection. Like I put in there, I grew up with a very strict parents. My dad was very strict, and he wanted his children to be perfect. And and when he would spank us, like what we all back then, we used to get spankings, you don't now, but he would say he's polishing his diamonds so they would be perfect. So yeah, really, that's and I've been working on that one because I have to feel like I have to be perfect in everything. And so just using that word is like a big trigger for me, and I've been working on that.
Wow. Congratulations, Jill. I'm glad that you're recognizing that. That takes a lot. And it's really interesting too, because, when we think about our parents, whether you grew up in a good home or not, you intook the words that they used on a regular basis. And that became part of your own belief without you realizing it. So if you think about it throughout your life and scenarios, we take on beliefs of other people and make it our own without even realizing it. Thank you for showing, Jill. Melissa.
Yeah, so mine is coherence, which I also shared in the chat.
Yeah.
And that one, I'm really coming to, it's something that's always kind of been there, but I didn't quite have a grasp on the word yet. I've been running into a lot of it recently with understanding how I work, understanding how much friction impacts me. And so, like, my goal has kind of really turned to removing friction with the goal of coherence.
Okay. Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Melissa. That's a major epiphany.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Thank you for sharing. Vivian.
Word obvious.
Ooh, okay, explain.
So when I was little and I would make mistakes, it was not explained what I did wrong, or it's obvious. Like I am so stupid that, they couldn't even explain it to me. So it's like, well, it's obvious that you shouldn't have done that. Well, it wasn't to me. So explain why.
Yeah.
And it just kind of puts that whole stupid, dumb label on you and it shuts me down. So I have really worked to not use that word since I left home, period.
Oh, good. Do you ever find yourself
Yeah.
saying that word to yourself, or have you?
Yes, indeed, ma'am.
All right.
Haven't broke that one yet.
Yeah. So, and that's one thing for us to really pay attention to. I think that especially for myself, I started paying attention to what I was saying out loud, but I didn't realize some of the things I was saying inside of my head, right? And so I think that this is where it becomes really important to write some of those things down, even if it doesn't have to be a full journal entry, but just writing that thing down because you're being aware of it. You're making your body aware of it. You're making your brain aware of it. And you have the ability then to correct it. I have actually, and this is funny, I've been sitting on the couch before, reflecting on my day and thinking of some things and kind of in my head. And then I'll be like, oh, no, that's not what I meant. My husband would be like, what? I'm like, oh, sorry. I was talking to myself. But I'll catch myself and say it out loud and then repeat it. Repetition is what creates the habits and the neural pathways within your brain and in things that you do every single day. So what you say outward and what you say in needs to be done the same way, right? Speaking of that, I want to chat a little bit about some of the words that I believe have had the most impact with a lot of people that I've talked to, that I've worked with, and things like that. So we're going to start with the first three, and I'll move my head out of the way so people can see it. But there are words that are keeping you stuck, right? And there are a lot of them, but today I want to focus on 6 of them. So you guys are going to want to write these down as we're kind of going through them. And I really want you to kind of think of, instead of this, we want to say that, right? So you're going to see up toward the top, let me get myself back. You're going to see in white is going to be the words that you are probably using on a regular basis and not realizing the power it is holding over you. And below in gold is going to be the words we want to put in place of it, right? So here is what most people don't realize, right? Like we just said before, the words you use are not just describing your reality, but they are creating it. So every word that you speak, like I said, whether it's out loud or in your head, is sending a signal to your brain. Your brain then takes that signal and uses it to decide what is possible, what is safe, and what is worth doing or what is not. And it does not question the word that you use, it just responds to it. So when you're saying things like, I'll try, your brain hears, maybe, right? This is literally the lowest form of commitment. And your brain likes this word because if you try and you do great, awesome. But if you try and you don't, there's generally not as much failure or disappointment attached to it. Because you can say, I mean, well, I at least tried. So instead of using that word, we want to use statements like I am or I will, right? Not I am trying to build a community. I am building a community, right? You want to have ownership over that. Then we have can't. And I saw that in a couple of your phrases in the beginning when I asked about that, right? I can't. When you say that, your brain hears, well, that's not available to me. It instantly decides you won't do it. You won't do it in the future. And here's what's really interesting. If you have to, it is going to feel so much harder because your brain already made the association that we're not doing that. Right? So again, we want to take ownership. We want to use things like I don't or I choose not to. This is one that I really enjoy using when I have people trying to sell me things. If I don't agree with it, or if I'm interested in it, but it doesn't really align with me at the moment, say, you know what? I really love that. However, I'm choosing not to spend money at this time on this, or I'm choosing not to put effort toward this at this moment. Right? The other one is going to be I should. And I saw someone put should or shouldn't in the messages earlier, right? So when you say I should or I shouldn't, your brain hears this as an obligation. Think about this for a second. An obligation, not a choice. Because a lot of times when we use the word, it is because of an outside influence, right? Our parents told us to do certain things or to hustle. And so we're like, oh, I should be doing more. That's not coming from your thoughts. That's coming from those beliefs that there's the attachment to, right? So a lot of this one can really stem from what you grew up in, the environments you've been around. If you're from corporate as well, that's going to play a huge role in how you are running your business. So again, we want to take ownership of this. I could, or it's my choice, or I will, right? All right, I've got 3 more for you. Does everybody have all this written down before we move on? Make sure I got thumbs up. Okay. Melissa's good? Okay. Well, I saw you still right, Melissa, so I want to make sure. Okay. The next set, watch out, is going to be, I can see myself on the screen occasionally, so I'm just like, whoa. I feel like the Matrix, except for I'm not going slow motion. So again, these are words that are keeping us stuck. And to me, these 6 are ones that we use on a regular basis, right? There are obviously a lot more, but these are going to be ones that I hear constantly. And I myself have had to work on. So when we say but, here's the interesting thing about but. There are times in a sentence where but is appropriate. What I find is when I'm talking with people or working with them is things like, well, I'm working on getting all this set up, but I know I have such a long ways to go. When you're using it in a space like that, what you are actually doing is you are deleting everything you said before, but your brain just deletes it. It's not important. It doesn't matter. You'd say, oh, I'm having a really great time, but the weather sucks. Your brain doesn't remember you had a great time. It goes directly to the negative. So and is a really great word to use instead. Now, this one is one that I worked on after I worked on the word try. And it sounds really weird when we add and into sentences. All right. If you're like an English nerd like I was, I had a really hard time with this one. However, it does shift the way that you think about things, right? If I were to say, I've been building this community and it's so beautiful, but God, there's so much work to do on the back end. I am choosing to hold on to the negative. But if I said, oh, I am building this absolutely beautiful community and there's a lot of work on the back end. Do you see how there's a different feeling that goes along with that? So, but is a really interesting word that we use all over the place. And it does have an appropriate space, but not in all the things we talk about. Another one is always or never. Now, when you are using these terms, your brain starts to build a permanent identity around that phrase. What's hard about this is you could just be having a really shitty Tuesday. So let me give you an example. Oh my gosh, I have just been busting my butt and it's always like something comes up. Well, that's not true. 2 days ago, I had 2 amazing days and nothing came up. But by saying always, we are concreting that that's what the brain is supposed to be looking for, right? So again, you want to be very aware. Maybe it's sometimes, maybe it's often, or maybe in the past, right? This is when I catch myself saying, it's been a really hard couple of days. However, it's only happened a few times this month. Your brain is wired to take in negative 10 times more than it is the positive. And so what we're really doing is paying attention to what our brain is supposed to be searching for. And by using these terms like but, always, never, we're giving the brain control to pull in more of that negative, right? So that's really what we're doing. We're rewiring it to be more uplifting, to be more positive, to search for the good things when everything feels like it's going to shit. And don't get me wrong, I still have shit days, right? Things happen, crap goes wrong. However, I am now able to identify that it is just that day and not my life. That's the difference. All right, so the last one is hopefully or hopeful. And I love this word so much because I literally corrected a friend of mine on a mastermind that I was a part of earlier. So I'm a part of a group called Her Nation, or the House of Villani, ran by Sabrina Victoria. She focuses on marketing and sales and helping women entrepreneurs make more money. Jill's a part of it. And so it's a phenomenal space. And so I was on one of the events that she was hosting today, and one of the ladies said, well, I'm working with this woman and hopefully we're going to do more work together. And I corrected her. I said, no, ma'am, you will be doing more work together. Take that hopeful out, right? Because when you're saying hopeful or hopefully, you are actually telling your brain that it is completely out of your control and you're just going to leave it up to chance. Hopefully. Again, it's kind of that safe space. If it doesn't work out, you don't have as much disappointment or failure that's attached to it. So again, it's owning our language. I am making sure I am working on, right? How's everybody feeling about this so far? Anybody's mind blown on some of these words? I'm kidding. Yes. All right. Everybody have their words written down? All right, let's move on. Okay, so my next question is then, out of the 6 words that I gave you, which are here, which one of the 6 words do you currently use the most? And I'm going to go around the entire room. So I'm going to stop my screen share for just a second because I want everyone to answer this one. All right. And I'm not going to call in any particular order, so be ready. No, I'm just kidding. Out of those 6 words that we just used, what's the one word that you find yourself using the most? Let's go with Vivian.
But
Ooh.
yeah, I mean, it just, I do that a lot. And your point is so valid. It's amazing. It just diminishes everything that you've already said. Like you said, it's amazing. I wanted to also say a little note for always and never.
Yeah.
My counselor helped me recognize that really diminishes if you're in a relationship and you're trying to get them to break a habit and you use that word when they do it, it diminishes everything that they've been working on.
Absolutely.
So it's huge, not just for ourselves, but for our partners.
Oh, very good point, Vivian. Thank you for that. Yeah, absolutely.
You got it.
Yeah. Melissa.
Okay, so this is kind of funny. I do always and never with myself. I don't do it with other people.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, that's very much a thing that I do. And also hopefully popped up there and I went, oh yeah, that's right. That's a word. Me and Hope don't get along great because like Hope has doubt in it. And so I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want that.
I love it though. Look, you're recognizing some of them though. That's wonderful. And I love that you recognize that you're using words for yourself, but not for others.
Yeah. Well, I had to. I had to very specifically make sure I was trying to correct things for my children growing up. And now I'm correcting them for me.
Yes, you are. Yeah. Let's see, Jill.
Should. I'm always, I should be doing this. Yep. I should have done that over the weekend. I should have gotten this done. Yeah, that's a lot of, it's in my head, not necessarily out. It's in my head more.
Yeah. And we need to correct it when it's in our brain as well, right?
Yeah.
Say it out loud. No, I should be doing whatever I
Yes.
want. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So make sure we're saying that out loud. I'm so serious. There is scientific studies behind the auditory and how you hear things as well when you say it out loud. It really brings it in and it processes back through the brain. So you may not think that it makes a difference, but I correct myself all the time and I'd be like, no, we're not saying that word. I probably look like a crazy person, but it's fine. But you really do have to stop and process, and I will say it out loud to repeat it differently. Tessa.
Yeah, for me, it's also I should. Um, and I think it's also, for those of you who don't know, I had an accident 3.5 years ago, and I've had in total about 5 or 6 surgeries, and which meant I haven't been doing as much as I want to or would like to, but I'm telling myself, especially, that I should do more and that I should really this and then the other. And I noticed that a lot. So for me, and there is this struggle between that there is certain things I sort of have to do, and but it's still different, like to the things that I feel I have to because they are good for me and therefore I want to do them and I may need to also get some support to do them. But the thought is if I had a bad day, I still say, well, oh, I should have just. And I noticed that difference between the words because my mind will also play tricks on me that if I only change the words without the feeling, then I can say I want to, or even I have to if it's like a practical, I don't know, filing my tax or something. I still feel that's a have to, but I'm never gonna want to do that. but yeah, but like it goes deeper than just changing the words, saying them. Like I have to also really feel the difference because otherwise I just change it in have to, but my mind inside still plays tricks and thinks, yeah, you can use I have to, but technically you still feel I should. So I think that's an important part when you're doing this exercise, to not only change the actual words, but really notice that you start feeling it differently as well. Otherwise,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Oh, thank you, Tessa. Yes, such a great reminder. Grace.
I would say probably like with Tessa, I don't usually say all these words that you had, but I tend to use more of the have to. So
Yeah.
yeah. So, I now have shifted because I'm also about words and communication and everything too. So I have shifted away from the have to. So I understand the power of the word. So what you're teaching today really resonates because I too do that with my clients as well. So very awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Grace. I love that. Let's see. I'm going to pronounce this name wrong. I'm going to butcher it. Katya?
Yes, you got it. It's Katya.
Okay.
I'm walking some dogs. That's why I was off camera. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no worries.
I would say I used to use the word should a lot until I started working on myself and healing and realizing that should has been why I don't do anything. Because should actually, I fight myself and I say should. If I say I should go to the gym, I don't go to the gym because there's a part of me that's fighting. So I was told not to use that word and just because it's actually it's holding me back. So I haven't been using should as much. I still use hopefully quite a bit.
Okay.
And I feel like, I don't know, like hopefully this will happen. Hopefully we'll get some sunshine. Hopefully I'll travel. So I don't know. I still use it for some reason.
And again, there are appropriate spaces for all of these words. The bigger thing is being aware of where we're using it in our language, right? So that we're not using it in place of the things we want to do or accomplish. And it's okay to dream big and stuff like that, right? Okay, Elle.
So I don't struggle with try too much because I grew up in the country. And where I grew up, if you said you were trying to do something, they would either say trying ain't doing, or they would say is you is or is you ain't.
I love that. Is you is or is you ain't.
It's funny to me now that like those silly expressions kind of protected me from that space. But the one that does tend to get me is but.
Yeah.
And specifically for me, it might be where I'm adding complexity where it doesn't need to be. I tend to think in a very kind of balanced mind and see all the perspectives. And sometimes it's just not that. And
Mm,
often, if I'm using but, it may be because I have an intuition or a feeling about something, and I'm
mhm.
trying to protect other people or just don't want to say exactly what I. So that comma but is like me often needing to challenge my authenticity or how I'm
Ooh,
showing up in a space.
yeah.
And the other one too is always never. I don't say it often, but it's one in my self-talk but for me, it actually triggers that I'm in black and white thinking. And often if I'm in black and white thinking, my mood may be getting low. So
Ooh.
usually if I hear myself and always never speak, I'm going to dial back and be like, okay, what's really happening here?
Mhm.
Because I know that's just like a part of myself that is probably just feeling trapped, helpless, hopeless, just tired, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's really great reflection too. And I think that that's the bigger thing is we've got to realize that sometimes we do need a break, need a moment, need some space.
Because they're gonna go nuts.
Oh,
Okay.
there she's muted. Marina, last but not least.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Beautiful. Yeah, as I was saying in the chat, the one for actually the two that would come up for me, one is the should, and usually that ties back when I'm thinking, oh, I feel like I'm like, oh, I wish I would have followed my intuition there, or
Mm,
something in the past happened, and I'm like, oh, wow, I really should have done that, right? It's almost like the time travel,
mhm.
and that's probably the most one of the most heaviest energies under it, because it's like to the point that I heard made that even when I don't say it out loud, or I can feel that coming up in the background the charge is still can still be there, right? And so it's interesting. It's just like to notice that and kind of release the resistance in it. And then that term around, like hopefully, I find that one to be kind of a social pleasantry. Like when
Mm,
I pause when I say that because I'm like, what exactly am I saying? Like I really don't hope this for you. I don't hope it for you.
yeah.
Um, but it's like a simple thing where another word could maybe. So I've been kind of playing with that one lately.
Yeah. Oh, I love that too, because that's a word that I go to often is like, oh, I hope you have a good time instead of choosing to use something else. So I love that. I haven't thought about it being just like this pledge, this way that we talk to people. Isn't that interesting? The way that we
It
use
really
it?
is.
Like it
Like
blows my
what I've been
mind.
what I've been experimenting with is like right on, and then that puts the energy right back in their court, you know?
Yeah.
That's what you can try on.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much for sharing. So as we are kind of wrapping up, thank you guys again so much for participating, for being a part of this. Um, these are the words that, we kind of went over today. So I want to make sure that you guys can see them. Who's in the way? But I also want to commend you guys, right? Because you all have chosen to go where a lot of people never decide to look into, which is the actual language that we use every single day. And a lot of people use it without questioning it. So as we talked about the science that's behind it, that there are statistics that prove that words are not neutral, that they can hurt, right? And they really do physically alter your brain. And I do want to remind you guys that they shape your nervous system. They change what you believe is possible for you. And that's not a metaphor, right? Like that is neuroscience. As we talked about earlier, one single word in a headline shifted a public's opinion, right? One single word in a medical study changed how 73% of people perceived their own health. One word. And that's the power of what we have been talking about. And I know when we did the phone exercise that even some of you were like, you felt it before your brain was even able to catch up, like, wait a minute. I'm using this, I'm trying to, but my brain is. So it's really interesting, I think, when we slow down and give ourselves space to be present, to be aware of the meaning of things, why we are using these words, what we are paying attention to versus what we are not paying attention to, right? Instead of just using them as such normal words, like it's no big deal. And so I kind of want to reflect back on these 6 words that are in front of you, right? Because these can do a lot of damage. Remember, try is the lowest form of commitment. Can't closes a door before you've even had a chance to put the key in. Should is somebody else's expectation that is using your voice, right? But is erasing everything that comes before it. Always and never are building a permanent identity around something that might just be a really shitty day, right? And hopeful is meaning that you are handing your future over to chance. And again, it's not that these words don't belong in sentences. What it means is we need to be aware of the language we are using, both for ourselves, like a lot of you guys said, internally, and how we are speaking to other people. I've even paid attention to these words when I speak to my kids and how I use that language. I think Vivian is the one that said to be aware of when you're speaking to your partner about that, right? It really does put a belief system and a connotation, whether that's negative or positive, on how we are using it and how we are choosing. So now you guys have a little bit of homework. And that homework is pick one of the 6 words that we've worked on. And for the next 14 days, I challenge you to watch for that word in your language. If you want to read it. And when you're watching for that word, I want you to change it out. But here's the most important thing. When you change it out, I want you to repeat that sentence with the new word, right? So if you're having a conversation, and I do this on my networking calls, if I catch myself saying, oh yeah, well, I'm trying to this, I'll be like, I am choosing to do this. I will fix it right there in a conversation. It's okay. You'd be surprised. Most people don't even like bat an eye at it, right? Because they're just working to listen to the information that's coming through. And then I would love for you guys to reach back out to me and let me know what kind of shifts you have had. And I just want you to know that, you know, what you shared, where it's come from, this is all part of the work that we are doing or that you want to be doing on a regular basis, because the word didn't start with you, right? Someone handed it to you. You just have been carrying it around ever since, thinking that it was yours, right? So a few and final things before we go. The goal here today was never to make you feel bad about the words that you've been using, right? You don't know what you don't know. And like I said, most people are going their entire life without even questioning a single word that they use. So you choosing to show up today means something in you is ready for this. And that's huge. The language you use about yourself is the story you are telling your nervous system about who you are and who you want to be. And remember, your nervous system believes every single word you use. So the question isn't whether your words have been shaping you, because they have. The question is now whether you're going to choose to use them on purpose or not. And that is the difference between borrowed language and chosen language. And that is, for me, what reclamation actually looks like in practice. It's not these big dramatic moments. It's things like this right here in ordinary sentences on an ordinary Wednesday, right? So this is your homework. I would love for you guys to focus on this. Choose one word, because that's all you need to, right? When I first started this, try was the word that I worked on the most. And then once I realized it wasn't in my vocabulary as much, I moved on to the next one, which was but. That was literally the second word that I focused on, was but. And then, like I said, I really do want you guys to let me know. I love celebrating wins with people. Let me be your cheerleader. Let me cheer you on, right? We all need that from time to time. Now, like I said in the beginning, we do have a beautiful, wonderful community called the Dragon Reclaimed. And this is some of the amazing things that we are teaching and working on inside of this community, on top of other pillars that work with your mindset, your body, and how you learn to reclaim who it is that you want to be. So like I said, I do have a very special offer for you guys for showing up today. So I am going to drop that information in the chat. There is going to be a code, and you will have 24 hours to, let me pull this up right here, to register. All right, so 24 hours to sign up with that discount. I am going to stay on for questions. I also invite you guys to follow me. I would love for you guys to follow, especially if you're going to DM me and shoot me your information and let me know how things worked, how things changed, all the stuff. So I'm going to drop in my Instagram and my LinkedIn because that's where I am the most. And if you DM me over there, I'll follow you back as well. I love supporting other people. I love being there for each other. I think that in a world where everybody strives to be the same, but we're telling each other we should be different, we forget that community should be the most important. And so I really do believe in lifting each other up and being in each other's space and being in our comments saying, hell yeah, girl. Or guy. So like I said, I would love for you guys to be a part of the community. We do this on a regular basis. I host 2 live calls every month starting in August that are not recorded, and it is for us to go deeper and have conversations. And then we also offer these master classes as well, along with me and some of my other amazing mentors in the community. So you get different perspective, different ways to take things in. And my favorite saying is take what resonates and leave the rest. So like I said, I've dropped that information in the chat. You do have 24 hours. I will follow up with everybody through an email as well. Does anybody have any questions before we are done today? We got about 5 minutes. Any feedback, anything that you would like to chat about? Melissa, you love my sound effects. I'm so glad because I am that person. Like if it ain't my hands going, I'm making some noises. Like, thank you for that. It's taken me a really long time to get back to this place. This is who I was when I remember being a teenager, and I lost it for a really long time, especially being in an abusive relationship. If you guys aren't following me, I talk about that a lot. I was in one for 10 years, and it takes a lot out of you of who you are. And this is one of the reasons why I created the community, because I get to show up as me, and I get to give my confidence to other people so that you can choose to show up as you, whatever that looks like. Maybe not as eccentric as I am, but showing up as you, Vivian. Yeah, but showing up as you. So thank you guys so much. Again, if anybody has any comments or anything like that, I would love to hear them before we end. And then Elle, if you wouldn't mind staying on for just a second. Awesome.
I was going to say, I would love to have everybody in the community so we could talk about our progress with this.
Yeah.
This just feels like something, the days when you are shouldn'ting too much or I'm button too much. And just, I'm curious to see how it goes. So I'd love to see everybody in the community.
Absolutely. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for being here. And thank you guys so much for showing up for yourself, for participating. I saw everybody taking notes, for answering the questions as I was asking. I know sometimes that can be really awkward. You're like, oh, I just kind of want to sit in my little corner. So I thank you so much for that. Not only for myself, but thank yourself for showing up for you, for showing up and committing, for putting yourself maybe in an uncomfortable space, because that's how you're going to grow, right? This is the space where we're going to be able to take ourselves to the next level. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope to see you in the community, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. Hit my chat. All right. Bye, Andrew.
Have a good day, friend.
Thank you.
Take care.